When I was kidnapped, Julian was with his new girlfriend, watching the sunrise, and casually told the kidnappers, keep her tied up. No rush to rescue her. Let her learn her lesson and stop bothering me. It'll be good for her. To survive, I had no choice but to take off my clothes and embrace Knox, my voice trembling as I pleaded, I'll be obedient. Please don't kill me. Later, Julian finally decided to rescue me. Knox even chuckled, lowering his head to look at me, unconscious in his arms. She's exhausted. I doubt she'll have the energy to leave with you. The sound of surging waves, amplified by a loudspeaker, echoed through the dilapidated warehouse. Julian's voice was nonchalant, carrying the lazy casualness of someone slightly tipsy. Luna, you certainly have many ways of trying to cling to me now. Yesterday, you instigated Julian's mother to pressure me for marriage, but it didn't work. And today, you resort to a kidnapping plot? If you want to die, just die. Don't interfere with me watching the sunrise with Chloe. Julian. Tears of fear streamed down my cheeks, dripping onto the ropes binding my hands and feet. I shook my head, desperately explaining, I'm not acting, I'm not faking this myself. I also don't know why Aunt would suddenly contact the media to officially announce our engagement. Please, just believe me this once, and come rescue me, okay? Heh, rescue you? Fine, Julian sneered, stating flatly, 50 million? I'll pay. Hearing this, the kidnappers immediately spoke, 5 hours from now, Crescent. Money on one side, and forget the person. Keep her tied up. No rush to rescue her. Julian's voice held clear disdain and mockery. Let her learn her lesson, and stop bothering me. It'll be good for her. Consider this money payment for your hard work in training her for me. Are you serious? The three kidnappers exchanged glances, questioning him. Julian smiled coldly, his smile tinged with an inexplicable ruthlessness. As long as you dare to touch her, I'll dare to pay. My tears broke free, and I closed my eyes in utter despair. Julian, you truly despise me to this extent. Julian, I pleaded through tears, unwilling to give up. I really was kidnapped. I don't need to be trained. Just rescue me, and I'll never bother you again. Julian, the sun's rising. A sweet, cheerful laugh suddenly came through the phone. Chloe happily exclaimed from the other end of the phone call, it's so beautiful. The sound of lips pressing and saliva mingling was clearly audible even on my end of the phone call. It wasn't hard to imagine what an passionate and profound kiss it must be. Despair enveloped my heart, which turned to ash, and I completely gave up struggling. Sitting on the ground, I stared blankly at the diamond ring Julian had given me, the only one, on my index finger, and laughed. It turns out a childhood promise truly means nothing. Julian, who had solemnly vowed at 16 to marry me and protect me for life. How did he change so much on the path to adulthood? I'm sorry, Julian, I was wrong. I apologize for bothering you one-sidedly for so many years. It won't happen again. Never again. The phone call went silent for a moment, then abruptly disconnected. The dial tone echoed throughout the warehouse. The three kidnappers exchanged glances. The youngest one scratched his head, looking bewildered. Knox, does Julian want to rescue her or not? To me, his as long as you dare to touch her sounded more like a threat to us. The man called Knox gritted his teeth viciously. Who cares what he means? All we want is the money. This woman is Julian's officially announced fiancée that his family acknowledged in the news yesterday. As long as we film her, Julian won't dare not to pay. With that, Knox pulled a white handkerchief from his pocket. Without explanation, he grabbed my head and pressed it against my nose. A strange scent immediately flooded my nostrils, making my head spin. My shirt ripped with a tearing sound, and Knox's voice, gritting his teeth in fury, came from above me. Enough talk, let's have some fun with her. But, the younger one still hesitated, we were only planning to hold her for 2 days. Now isn't in a rush to rescue her. I'm worried that if it takes too long, Ryder might find out. Knox abruptly tossed the cigarette from his mouth and cursed, so what if he finds out? Do you actually believe he'll help us transition to legitimate business, leaving our illicit dealings behind? He's just putting on a show, he just took over. The family has been involved in illicit dealings for so many years. If he cleans up his act, what will he live on? Get a brain. If we really get caught, we'll just hand her over for him to have fun with. His methods for training people are far superior to ours. Oh, is that right? The warehouse door suddenly opened, and a tall, slender man in a black coat slowly entered. Several burly bodyguards followed behind him. The man's light eyes swept over them, and he scoffed softly, "Why don't you try my methods for training people today?" Hearing this, the three kidnappers trembled all over and collectively knelt before the man, our rider. Knox's face turned pale, and he hastily pointed at me. "We found a girl for you, she's definitely exciting. You see, she's already inhaled the drug, so she's ready to go." The man's brow furrowed immediately, his gaze flickered to me, and a dark shadow crossed his eyes. Despite his impossibly handsome face, he made every hair on my body stand on end in terror. Although my body had already started to feel a slight warmth, I couldn't help but shiver again, curling my body backward. Seeing this, the man's eyebrow twitched slightly. He then walked over and squatted in front of me, pulling a folding knife from his pocket. His cold voice sounded even colder to me than the glinting blade. "It might hurt. Bear with it. I'm sending you on your way." Sending me on my way? No. Don't kill me. A string in my mind snapped, and the will to survive ignited my courage. My bound hands hastily gripped him tightly, and I looked at him with tear-filled eyes, pleading, "Please, don't kill me. I'll find a way to pay whatever amount it is. I really don't want to die in the next 2 years. Please." The man lowered his gaze, his eyes sweeping over my hands gripping his. He paused, his eyebrow raised with interest, and his voice deepened. "What's wrong with dying in the next 2 years?" I choked on my words. "Is that the point?" But I didn't dare not to answer. Because I lowered my head and whispered, "The country has relaxed the third child policy. But young people generally don't want to have children now. So, if I die now, there's a high probability I'll be reincarnated into one of those traditional families striving for large broods. I'd be dying young in this life, without enjoying much happiness. It's really not ideal to die now." The man's expression was clearly stunned. His thin lips immediately pressed together, and a faint smile flickered at the corner of his mouth. But I wasn't in the mood to notice. Because the waves of heat within my body were already surging, threatening to overwhelm me. Caught between the fear of death and being violated by multiple men, I quickly assessed what leverage I had to save myself. Then, boldly, I leaned in and lightly kissed the man's lips. "I'll be obedient. I won't resist. You can do whatever you want with me." The entire warehouse fell into a deathly silence. The man's eyes suddenly darkened, his Adam's apple bobbed slightly, but he said nothing. I bit my lip, vaguely seeing a glimmer of hope. My bound arms rose and fell, then wrapped around his neck. And then, I kissed him again. But the man gently cupped my neck, pushing me away and creating distance between us, his gaze fixed on my eyes, dark and profound. "I wasn't planning to kill you. It's not too late to regret this now. I can find you another man. But if you come with me, there'll be no room for regret." Waves of heat surged, my eyes were already hazy, and I snuggled into his embrace, shaking my head. "With you. No regrets. Since my purity was destined to be lost, at least I should pick a handsome one." The next second, my lips and tongue were claimed. The man tightened his grip on the back of my head. In the hotel bathroom, the shower hissed. Panting and a sensual atmosphere further elevated the temperature. My hands were pulled up above my head, and the man pressed me against the wall, taking me forcefully. Yet his fingers could still stray, playfully caressing the diamond ring on my hand, his thin lips curving into a smirk. "A flower with an owner, yet you still dare to tempt me? Do you truly think I'm a good person?" The warm water made it hard to open my eyes, my body was drained of strength, I could barely stand, and my consciousness was already hazy. "No owner. The ring, no, I don't want it." No wonder this is your first time?" The man leaned close to my lips, his voice a husky chuckle, as he removed the diamond ring. "If you don't want it, then give it back to him." My arms were immediately lowered, and I slid down weakly, only able to quickly cling to the man's muscular back. My gasps were incoherent. "Ryder, that's my name," the man whispered seductively in my ear. "Call me." "Ah," I cried out, my nails scraping his back. "Ryder." Julian on a beach lounger. A delicate woman lay in Julian's arms, faintly protesting his distraction. Then, she leaned in, wanting to kiss his lips, but turned his head, avoiding her. He frowned, looking at the phone on the nearby table that hadn't rung again. "Luna, call again. Call again, and I'll believe you. You've checked your phone 20-something times in 4 hours, are you serious? If you're really worried about her, go check on her. Owen, his friend on a nearby lounger, watched his reaction and shook his head helplessly. Years ago, with a single proposal, you captured her heart. Then you grew up, became heartless, wanting to be a carefree wanderer, complaining that she bothered you, clung to you, and tried to control you. All these years, you've had a reputation for womanizing. It's normal for Julian's mother to be anxious and want to pressure you into settling down and marrying through the media. It truly might not have been Luna who instigated it. And I'm reminding you for the nth time, hearts can grow cold. No one will wait for you forever. How many more times do you think you can abuse that bit of trust from your youth? Don't wait until you've truly hurt her and she's gone, only to regret it. Julian's fingers paused slightly. He lowered his gaze and remained silent for a long moment, then let out a soft sneer. I would never regret it. Tying my entire life to one person is too boring. I'm desperate for her to leave quickly. Stop clinging to me so shamelessly with that bit of teenage affection. I'm truly sick and tired of it. Owen frowned upon hearing this. Just as he was about to say something more, Julian, not wanting to listen, stood up, opened a bottle of champagne, and as the liquid sprayed, he blended into the crowd celebrating on the beach. Owen pursed his lips and silently cursed him a self-destructive jerk. Suddenly, a dark shadow fell over him. Owen was startled, looking at Julian who had returned, his eyes full of mockery. Julian, with a cold expression, picked up his phone. Just as he unlocked the screen, the ringtone sounded first. Julian, the caller was Julian's assistant. Someone just sent something to the company via courier service. It's for you. The sender is Luna. Julian immediately scoffed, disdain rising in his eyes. He suddenly felt like his recent concern for Luna was idiotic. It's a diamond ring, and it looks like, the assistant paused, the one Luna always wore. Julian's pupils constricted abruptly. Say that again, what? The assistant quickly sent the photo of the diamond ring. Julian recognized it with just one glance. It was the proposal diamond ring he had given her when he confessed his feelings at 16. Luna had always worn it like a cherished treasure. A strange, indescribable feeling suddenly arose in Julian's heart. But in the end, it was all consumed by anger, and he scoffed as he quickly typed in the message thread, "Your self-staged kidnapping act can't be kept up anymore. Are you trying this play hard to get tricked to threaten me again? Luna, now that the ring is returned, we are truly done with each other. Don't bother me again." The message was sent, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea. The message thread, which usually saw instant replies, remained unanswered. Julian scrolled up, agitated. The message thread was dense with Luna's one-sided checking in and showing concern for him. A cold smile played on his lips. Yes, how could Luna not like him? This whole commotion was just another act. Determined to teach her a good lesson, Julian simply turned off his phone, cutting off any chance for her to regret and seek reconciliation. Then he shot up, vigorously shaking the champagne. Pop! The champagne sprayed, and Julian smashed the bottle onto the ground. He turned, pulled the woman in his arms closer, and laughed wildly. My father is in a good mood today. Let's get more drinks. When I woke up the next day, Ryder was not in the room. It was my first time being kidnapped, and I didn't know what the procedure was after sleeping with Knox. Was I supposed to wait for someone to come and ransom me with money? Or was I to be his person for the rest of my life, bound to him? Or perhaps, looking at the empty room and my unbound hands and feet, I wondered, could I just try to leave? Clothes lay strewn on the floor, my shirt and stockings were torn. I could only pick up Ryder's oversized shirt and put it then tiptoe towards the door. From the balcony behind me, Ryder's roguish scoff suddenly sounded. Those three are your confidants, not mine. From my perspective, they are disobedient remnants of your old regime, still loyal to you. Crippling them would be considered mild. As he spoke, the balcony door opened. Ryder, stepping out, didn't notice me by the door. He just slightly moved the phone away from his ear. It seemed the person on the other end was swearing. Ryder's smile grew colder. Dad, don't forget, I'm in charge of Sterling now. If they break my rule about transitioning to legitimate business, even if I scatter both their ashes, you'd best not throw a fit. Having said that, without waiting for a response, Ryder hung up the phone call directly. He raised his gaze slightly, and then saw me. After a few seconds of stun, a hint of playful amusement entered his previously dark eyes. You used me up and then you want to run? I shuddered in fright, shaking my head repeatedly, and not planning to run. At that moment, I remembered the Sterling family and Ryder's identity. The top illicit dealer in Metropolis City, engaged entirely in high-stakes, illicit ventures. Having provoked such a fierce outlaw, running was out of the question. Obedience was the key to survival. Ryder raised an eyebrow and moved closer to me, steadily advancing. He cornered me against the door, leaving no way to retreat. His gaze swept over my legs exposed beneath his shirt, his expression darkened, and he abruptly picked me up. He had my bare feet step onto his shoes. There are bodyguards all over the entrance. Are you planning to go out dressed like that? I don't think you want to run, I think you want to die. In truth, I couldn't stand steadily like this at all. I could only cling to Ryder's neck, leaning lightly against the door, and whisper a negotiation to him. Both my parents are researchers, living year-round in a secluded research facility with no signal. The Y belong to a category of people with high social status but not much money. It might take a long time for them to find me and come pay to ransom me. Ryder paused slightly, then chuckled, if you're with me, you won't lack money. Hearing this, I paused. If he didn't want a ransom, did that mean I had to stay with him indefinitely? This is my first time with someone. I don't know how it works. Do I need to stay here all the time? Or. His lips suddenly captured mine. Ryder gently pecked my lips, a smile playing on his thin lips. Do you know how to date? I froze, blinking in confusion. Huh? My body suddenly lifted into the air. Ryder scooped me up in his arms, and as he leaned over to lay me on the bed, he chuckled softly near my lips. We'll just follow the dating process. Julian finally turned on his phone 3 days later. 3 days of wild revelry. The entire private estate looked as if a typhoon had passed through, leaving only a chaotic mess of dishes and a lingering scent of debauchery and decay. His phone was fished out from between the couch cushions. Julian pressed the power button, leaned back wearily on the sofa, scoffing, and waited for the message notification sounds to finish. So many messages, they must all be from Luna. Every single day, she'd send him messages about the most trivial things. So annoying. This time, she probably even sent a wall of text. The notifications finally stopped. Julian reached out to tap the screen, but just then, a phone call came in, and he instinctively answered it. He saw the caller ID inside. It was Julian's mother. She was probably roped in by Luna again to mediate a reconciliation. Julian frowned, and just as he was about to speak, his mother's anxious voice came through first. Son, can you get in touch with Luna? Why hasn't she replied to my messages for 3 days? Has something happened? 5/7 of his drunkenness instantly faded. Julian shot up from the sofa, his brow furrowing even deeper. Can't get in touch? Suddenly, the phone call about the kidnapping from 3 days ago flashed through his mind. Luna hasn't had enough of her game? Julian pursed his lips, his face grim, and pressed the dial button. He couldn't quite pinpoint the feeling in his heart. There was panic, but more than that, there was exasperated anger. Luna had really gone too far this time. Hello? The phone call connected quickly, but the voice that answered was that of a deep, husky stranger. Julian's expression abruptly froze. His heart plummeted. 3 in the morning. Luna's phone was answered by a man. These two realizations ultimately combined into the fact of the kidnapping. Panic swept over him in an instant. Julian clenched his fists tightly, his voice strained. Where's Luna? Let her answer the phone call. You didn't touch her, did you? Give me the address, I'll go ransom her right now. There was a pause on the other end of the phone call, followed by what seemed like a chuckle. But he didn't say much, only spoke softly, his voice gentle and husky. Let's just leave it for today. She's exhausted. Even if you brought out my father to help, she wouldn't necessarily have the energy to leave with you. Julian shot to his feet. His eyes trembled visibly. Almost immediately, he roared, fiercely kicking over the coffee table in front of him, his eyes bloodshot. You F********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** gave you permission to touch her. Didn't I say I'd pay? Everyone in the private estate was stunned, as if a pause button had been pressed. No one dared to move. They just stared blankly as Julian's eyes turned crimson in an instant. His eyes were filled with alarming murderous intent. The veins on his neck bulged. It took him several deep breaths to finally suppress some of his emotions, and he wiped his face. How do I pay? How do I ransom her? Ryder lowered his gaze, looking at the sleeping woman in his arms. He suddenly recalled her wronged expression when She said she had no money for the ransom that afternoon. He softly curled his lips. 50 million. Just transfer it to her bank account. I only found out I had been ransomed the next morning. Ryder stood by the bed, slowly fastening his shirt cuffs. His expression was calm, and he naturally handed me my fully charged phone. It was sent back last night. It's already fixed. You were asleep in the middle of the night, so I answered a phone call from Julian for you. I managed to extort 50 million in pocket money for you. My pupils abruptly dilated, and I took the phone in a daze. When I saw over 100 missed phone calls on the screen, I was completely stunned. They were all from Julian? Ryder clearly saw the number too, and his eyebrow lifted slightly. Perhaps I'm just too good at conversation. He seemed quite unsatisfied. This is called unsatisfied? Ryder bent down to pick up his suit jacket, draped over his arm. His shirt and trousers outlined his broad shoulders and narrow waist, making my face flush. My mind recalled the indulgence and intimacy of the past few days. Ryder saw my reaction, a smile played on his lips, and he leaned down to press a soft kiss on my forehead. Be good, don't tempt me. Otherwise, I won't be able to leave soon. My face instantly flushed crimson. Ryder gently ruffled my hair, his eyebrow calmly raised. Go back and give Julian my regards. Truly a powerful figure, so generous. But then, he added in a low, sinister tone, if you dare to rekindle your old flame, I'll scatter both your ashes. Me. Although those 3 kidnappers had been dealt with, they were, after all, Ryder's subordinates. If it truly got complicated, it would be a bit troublesome. Therefore, it wasn't convenient for him to escort me. I took a taxi back by myself. I didn't go back to my own home, but instead first came to Julian's mother's place. Given my parents' job nature, they were rarely seen year-round. So, I basically EW up with Julian, looked after by Aunt Luna. It's all right now. You're home. Aunt, with reddened eyes, held my hand, her face filled with guilt. Julian sat silently on the opposite sofa, uncharacteristically quiet. But from the moment I entered, he had been staring at me. His bloodshot, dark eyes held an alarming gloom. Aunt called him twice to no avail, so she simply ignored him, wiping her tears as she apologized to me. Luna, Aunt is so sorry. It's all Aunt's fault for not thinking things through. I only thought about pressuring that rascal Julian to marry you quickly. I never expected it would lead to you being targeted by kidnappers. It's also fortunate that they only wanted money. If anything had truly happened to you, how would I explain it to your parents? The sofa suddenly let out a loud bang. Julian, who had been silent until now, seemed as if he had been provoked by some word. He abruptly stood up from the sofa, pulling me with him toward the stairs. His hand was very cold, like ice. I struggled hard, but couldn't break free. Julian, let go. Julian, however, turned a deaf ear to all my cries, dragging me all the way to the 2nd floor and forcibly pushing me into the bathroom of a guest room. He locked the door behind him, his voice extremely cold, yet his fingers were trembling slightly. Shower. Julian, are you sick? I was truly baffled, and I shook him off, trying to leave. I'm clean, what the hell is there to shower for? But yanked me back, his eyes fixed on me with a look as if he wanted to kill someone for revenge. Where is he? I was startled. Who? The veins on Julian's neck bulged, as if even speaking the name carried immense fury. The kidnapper who answered the phone call last night. I let out a silent laugh, and took advantage of his distraction to slip free from his grasp. Is there a possibility that he was the one who saved me, not a kidnapper? Heh, Julian chuckled in extreme anger, almost gritting his teeth. He saved you right onto the bed? Did saving you require touching you? Honestly, I didn't understand what Julian was so angry about now. Is it that hard to guess? I scoffed. I was kidnapped, not on vacation. I should already be grateful that I wasn't tormented to half-death, right? Fortunately, Knox was Ryder. Fortunately, he arrived that day. Fortunately, he wanted me. After I said this, Julian froze for a few seconds. Then he understood the meaning of my words, and his expression instantly crumbled. His anger shattered, transforming into helplessness in his eyes. I didn't think it was real. I just thought you were acting. I thought they were hired by you for pressuring for marriage. If I had known. I scoffed lightly, interrupting him. Recalling the events of that day, my heart was filled with a dead calm. Didn't you know? Didn't you say to give them 50 million as a thank you fee for training me? A kidnapping that could have been resolved just by paying money, because of that one sentence from you, became a lesson for me. If I hadn't been rescued, I'd probably have been passed around and had countless humiliating videos taken by now, wouldn't I? Julian, congratulations, I really have learned my lesson. I'll never bother you again. Julian's expression froze. A grayish, defeated color appeared in his eyes, as if his rage had been completely extinguished by water. His jaw twitched slightly, as if he were gritting his teeth. After a long silence, he finally seemed to convince himself, and opened his mouth with difficulty. Forget it, Luna. Forget this kidnapping, forget that man. Forget about both of you. He abruptly stopped speaking. Julian's lips trembled, but he couldn't bring himself to say the rest. He took a deep breath, turned his face away, his tone much softer. Just pretend everything never happened. If you want to marry me, you can. I can satisfy everything except love and monogamy. For a moment, I even wondered if IW as hallucinating. Did just say something rational? Had he forgotten that he was the one who initiated things with me? He confessed his feelings to me and proposed to me when he was 16, not 6. After growing up, he casually overturned his promise. He never considered how I, already provoked and in love with him, was supposed to take back the heart I had given. Like a stray dog adopted and then abandoned. Helpless, wronged, whimpering. Yet it's hard to return to a life of wandering. Ultimately, defeated by the desperate craving for love, it turns its head and chases after its master, wagging its tail, begging for the warmth it once knew. Actually, sometimes this dog also wonders. Perhaps it would have been better if you hadn't adopted me, hadn't provoked me in the first place. Let's not. Anger, hurt, and other emotions intertwined. In the end, only a self-inflicted helplessness remained. I lowered my eyes, smiling calmly. Don't force yourself. I've already given up. I won't like you or bother you anymore. So, there's really no need for such a big sacrifice. It's all in the past. From now on, you can live your carefree life to the fullest. I spoke these words sincerely, but seemed even more displeased with my obedience. A trace of inexplicable panic flashed between his brows. His tone immediately turned sarcastic and irritable. That sounds good. Not bothering me? Do you even believe that yourself? Can you do it? If you can't, don't force it. I never said you had to disappear from my world. I just can't give you love, it's not like. My gaze settled firmly on the base of my ring finger. A diamond ring used to be constantly worn there, but it had only been off for 3 days, and hardly any trace remained. Just like my past, filled with hope, unwilling to give up or let go. Saying I'd give up was merely for that one moment. Julian, I can do it. Julian's eyes narrowed sharply. After staring at me deeply for a few seconds, he finally seemed convinced and said that I would fail, and a smirk played on his lips. You'd better be. I must be. Ryder's face inexplicably appeared in my mind, and I smiled. Otherwise, both our ashes will be scattered. After that day, I kept my promise and maximized the distance between myself and Julian. I no longer sent him interesting things anytime, anywhere. Nor did I pay attention to whether he was flirting or intimate with anyone. And I no longer showed up in front of him for no reason. I even stopped attending gatherings with mutual friends if he was there. During this time, Aunt also noticed my distancing and sent me messages a few times. But after a few attempts, she understood my stance and sighed serenely. It seems we were never meant to be family after all. A little over a month later, on Christmas, Owen came to my ceramics. He watched me calmly instruct students on pottery making, raising an eyebrow with a smile. Luna, are you serious this time? You're really not going to pay attention to that self-destructive jerk anymore? I tisked, glancing at him. It's a big holiday, why aren't you with Amelia at home? Why are you hanging around here? Aren't you afraid Amelia, whom you worked so hard to win back, will run off again? Owen's smile immediately vanished. He casually grabbed a small lump of clay and gently tossed it at my apron. I came to check on my sister. Are you trying to hit a nerve, sis? After speaking, he clapped his hands as if bored, and got off the chair. He placed a handwritten invitation on the table. On the light pink paper was elegant script written in a delicate hand. It was clear his calligraphy practicing wife Amelia had written it herself. It's Amelia and my 3rd wedding anniversary. Anyway, Julian will definitely be there. It's up to you. I'll understand if you don't come. With that, Owen picked up the bouquet of roses beside him, raised his chin at me, indicating he was leaving. But he stopped at the doorway, turning to look back at Luna. Julian actually cares about you deep down. For the past month, he seemed carefree, with one new girlfriend after another. But actually, he often stares blankly at his phone, waiting for your messages. I'm not speaking for him. I just can't bear to see your years of persistence finally about to pay off, only for you to miss out like this. So I'm just putting it out there. The choice is yours, I'll support you no matter what. If you want to start fresh, I'll immediately introduce you to someone new. The shop door was suddenly pulled open from the outside. The welcome bell chimed clearly. Ryder, in a black down jacket, walked in, accompanied by swirling snowflakes. Excuse me. Ryder spoke calmly, his voice cool. Owen was staring blankly at his handsome face, then suddenly snapped back to reality, quickly moved aside, and apologized. But before stepping out, he looked back at Ryder, a thoughtful question in his eyes. He seemed to be trying to remember where he had seen this person before. It's snowing? I raised an eyebrow, looking outside, and smiled. Snowing on Christmas, how fitting. Ryder nodded, saying nothing. But while the students were all craning their necks to look at the snow, he walked over, leaned down, and quickly pecked my lips. His lips were icy cold. But it startled me so much my eyes widened. I playfully punched him lightly, glaring at him fiercely. What are you doing? There are still people here. Ryder, however, pouted and raised an eyebrow, looking utterly righteous. As your secret, hidden boyfriend, sneaking kisses is my basic duty. So I don't delay Owen introducing you to someone new. Me. Hidden? Where am I hiding you? We've been openly dating for over a month. It's just that I'd been avoiding Julian lately, so I hadn't been seeing many people. That's all. The clock on the wall chimed 6 o'clock. I tilted my head at Ryder and announced to the students that class was over. By the time the last student was picked up by their parents, the sky had completely darkened. Festive lights glowed along the street, and combined with the falling snowflakes, they added a touch of romance. Ryder embraced me from behind, pulling me close. His lips lightly brushed my ear, his voice magnetic. The mood's perfect for this. How about a secret date, girlfriend? Ugh. He never quits. At 10:10 p.m., my usually inactive social media post updated its status, Mary. To the passive-aggressive guy who keeps hinting for us to officially announce it. The accompanying picture was of our clasped hands. 18. Owen finally remembered who Ryder was. Ryder, the youngest head of Sterling, having taken over at 25. On the day he took power, he announced his intention to overturn my father's old ways of illicit dealings, transition to legitimate business, and ordered all of Sterling to cease any dealings outside of legitimate business. And single-handedly, within just 6 months, he elevated Sterling from a complete standstill to one of the top 15 most reputable enterprises in Metropolis City. How could such a formidable figure appear in Luna's small ceramics? He wouldn't be there to learn pottery, would he? My phone buzzed, and the group chat suddenly exploded. Holy moly! Luna officially announced it? And I found the key detail. The background of their clasped hands is a bed. At 10 p.m. Are they living together? Is it with Julian? No, Julian was drinking alone at my place last night, seemingly waiting for a message, staring at his phone all night. The group went quiet for a few seconds, then someone quietly posted, "Don't tell me he was waiting for Luna?" The conversation awkwardly stopped at that last message. No one spoke again in the message thread. Owen's heart sank. He quickly exited the chat and opened Luna's social media post. Seeing the ring on her slender index finger, he instantly gasped, "Sigh, it's over." That self-destructive jerk finally sealed his own fate. The day after Christmas was a weekend, and the ceramics was closed. I left Ryder's place and, instead of going home, made a special trip to the mall. I picked out a 3rd anniversary gift for Owen and Amelia. Ahem, and while I was at it, I also bought a tie for someone as a belated Christmas gift. Ding! The elevator reached the floor of my apartment and opened outwards. Just as I looked up to step out, a dark figure suddenly lunged at me. My body was roughly shoved against the elevator wall. I cried out in pain, but a forceful kiss stifled my cry. MMMPH. Reeking of alcohol lingered around my nose. Julian, eyes bloodshot, cupped my face and kissed my lips almost like he was biting them. It hurt so much I frowned. Let go. I frantically pushed at Julian's shoulders. The moment his tongue forcefully parted my lips, I bit down hard. Ow! Julian yelped in pain and finally let go of me. I dared not linger for a second, taking a step and running. But I'd barely taken a step before my wrist was seized. Am I going to eat you or something? Why are you running? Julian gripped me tightly, roaring. I flung the gift boxes in my hand, all of them hitting his head. Then were you having a fit just now? Yes. Julian kicked the scattered boxes on the ground. His chest heaved, his gaze fixed on my ring finger, as if he was about to pounce and bite my neck off. Where were you last night? Why didn't you come home? I just found it baffling. Where I go doesn't seem to concern you, does it? Julian's body trembled violently. He reached up to wipe his face, his eyes fierce. Who is he? Such a familiar question. I looked up, silently watching him, and didn't answer. Julian already realized it himself. His face turned ashen. Whether it was the alcohol or something else, his body swayed slightly, and he propped himself against the wall. Did he force you? No, we're just together. Julian closed his eyes, hiding the breakdown in his gaze. Break up with him. Didn't you want to be with me? Fine, we'll be together. You break up with him, and I can pretend nothing happened. After speaking, Julian sighed softly, as if completely surrendering to some unseen force. Luna, you win. I missed you a lot these past few weeks. We'll be together, and I won't have anyone else. Oh, I see. He must have thought my official announcement last night was just a trick to provoke him? Julian, I'm not like you. I know my own heart. If I like you, I'll pursue you openly and honestly. I wouldn't be so childish as to use someone else to play games with my feelings. Julian's face instantly turned ashen. His fingers curled inward, but he couldn't form a fist. His eyes were bloodshot, and he gave an extremely strange smile. Impossible. You obviously liked me so much. How could you be with someone else so quickly? I pulled my lips into a smile, my voice laced with sarcasm. Oh, come on. Can childhood crushes ever truly last? Not wanting to argue with him anymore, I walked to my door to open it. The door code beeped as I entered it. The moment the door opened, a trembling plea sounded from behind me. Can I start loving you again, right now? This time, let me pursue you. I slowly turned my head, my eyes filled with disbelief. Where were you all this time? Now you want to call it even? Play it starting over? Julian's expression turned defeated. He suddenly felt so miserable he didn't know what to do. Back then, I just hadn't fallen in love with you yet. Or rather, hadn't realized I loved you. Owen was right. He was truly eating his words. He always said he'd never regret it. But when he saw the photo of her holding someone else's hand, he regretted it so much he wanted to tear that man apart. This was his Luna. The who always followed him, who would always be there if he just looked back. How did someone else manage to whisk her away halfway, and now she couldn't be reclaimed? How could an adult not even understand what they want? It's just pretending to be deaf and dumb, acting with impunity. That excuse of loving without realizing it is often just an idiot's excuse to cover their insatiable greed. At the elevator entrance, Ryder was standing there at some point, arms crossed, leaning against the wall. Dressed in a beige hoodie and black sweatpants, he looked strangely assertive. Julian's eyes narrowed sharply when he saw Ryder's face, his gaze filling with a clear sense of alarm. Clearly, he had matched the Ryder in front of him with the man who had provoked him on the phone that night. Ryder. So it was you. Ryder curled his lips, brought his index and middle fingers together to his forehead in a salute, a natural roguish charm in his expression. Hello there, Julian, the ex who only regrets it after losing it. Julian's face instantly darkened. Ryder, seemingly oblivious to his grim mood, his leisurely gaze swept over the scattered gift boxes on the ground. Finally, it stopped on the tie that had been flung out. He looked up at me, with amusement in his eyes. For me? An official announcement gift? I puffed out my cheeks in exasperation. No. Oh, Ryder said, but immediately bent down, picked up the tie, and hung it around his neck. He walked to my side, his expression nonchalant. You tie it for me. I rolled my eyes at him, pulling him toward the door. Why are you wearing a tie with a hoodie? Doesn't matter, I look handsome no matter what. The door closed behind us. I didn't turn around, but I still heard a wistful, forlorn whisper from behind me. But you clearly learned to tie a tie for me back then. With a subtle hint from a certain Ryder, I eventually attended Owen and Amelia's banquet. Ryder, dressed sharply in a suit, tall and imposing, attracted everyone's attention the moment he stepped out of the car. Owen stepped forward, extending his hand with a genial smile. Hello, Owen here. Ryder returned the handshake, smiling just as ably. But what he said made me couldn't help but cover my face, right? You think my tie is handsome too, don't you? It's the official announcement gift Luna gave me the day she publicly announced I was her boyfriend. Me. Ryder, you're really something when it comes to talking, and you certainly hold a grudge. Owen probably still doesn't know. This whole situation is because of that I'll introduce you to someone new comment on Christmas, isn't it? Guests continued to arrive, and the banquet became lively. Given status, even if he tried not to socialize, he couldn't avoid being pulled into conversations. I found a quiet corner, eating tiramisu while watching Owen on stage, holding Amelia's hand and crying like an idiot. It was quite touching, really. Owen used to be one of the worst jerks around. His pursuit of Amelia was a world of pain. But he actually managed to win her back. A figure suddenly stood beside me. I didn't turn my head, but I knew who it was. Coming here today, I'd expected to see him. Compared to that day when he was reeking of alcohol, Julian was dressed quite presentably today. But the weariness in his expression and the bloodshot eyes still showed. He hadn't been doing well recently. Luna. Julian spoke, struggling to say my name. He looked at the lovers embracing on stage, then raised his hand towards me. His palm was open, a ring lay in his palm. It looked like he had squeezed it too tightly earlier, leaving an imprint on his palm. Let's get married too, okay? I'm sorry. I've been years late for that proposal. I won't let you down again. I'll treat you well, and I'll only have you for the rest of my life. I put down my fork. I'd lost my appetite. I reached out and picked up the ring I used to always wear. As his eyes finally lit up, I turned and opened the French windows. The ring arced through the air and ultimately landed in the swimming pool. Julian's body swayed. His already pale face lost all color, his lips trembling. He stammered anxiously, Luna, I was wrong, I truly know I was wrong. Before, I didn't know how to cherish you, I was foolish. I'm changing, I'm pursuing you again. But you deleted me. To this day, Julian didn't dare recall the despair of sending messages yesterday only for them to be deleted. Just when he finally found a way, the moment he saw hope, that red exclamation mark tore apart his shattered hopes. Luna, I don't ask you to forgive or accept me right now. But at least, leave me a path, okay? A path for me to make amends, to pursue you again. Exit, then turn left. A cold scoff suddenly rang out. Before I could react, I was pulled into a firm, warm embrace. Ryder, holding me in a possessive manner, raised an arrogant eyebrow at Julian. How about a world of pain? I'll go collect your ashes when it's all over. With causing such a scene, Ryder and I couldn't really stay, afraid of disturbing their banquet. So we said our goodbyes early and left. Not going home? I looked at Ryder, who was looking down at his phone for directions, feeling a little confused. No, I'm in a good mood today. I'm taking you to the beach to watch the sunrise. I really fell for Ryder's trick. Yes, watch the sunrise. But he didn't say the time leading up to it would be spent in the car. Ahem. When passion was at its peak, at that most intoxicating moment, Ryder raised my hand, and a momentary coolness touched my ring finger. My mind cleared for just a second, but I fell back into his embrace the next, our fingers intertwined. Owen's phone call came just before dawn. I leaned against Ryder's chest, utterly drained, my voice still thick with sleep. What is it, Owen? But it wasn't Owen on the other end, but another mutual friend of ours. Luna, come see Julian. He was fishing for the ring you threw away in the swimming pool for several hours. Who could withstand that in the dead of winter? He passed out as soon as he got out. Now he's in the hospital, burning up an idiot. No matter what, you two were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. Come see him. Hearing this, I pursed my lips, then said calmly, is he awake? If he's conscious, give him the phone. The other end of the line was silent for about 10 seconds. Then came Julian's weak, hoarse voice, tinged with a sob. Luna, I found the ring. I found it, can you? Julian, I slowly interrupted him. You have a lot of ways to bother me now, don't you? Stop doing these useless things, and don't delay Ryder and me from watching the sunrise. The other end of the line abruptly went silent. I also froze. Because just now, the moment I looked down, I saw the diamond ring on my ring finger. Under the sudden light of the rising sun, it shone with dazzling brilliance. Ryder reached out and wrapped an arm around my waist, pulling me partially into his embrace. He gently stroked the diamond ring with his other hand, his voice deep, wearing my ring, you're stuck with me for the rest of your life. If you dare to run. My lips curved into a smile, and I subtly raised an eyebrow. Go ahead and scatter my ashes then. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.